Good afternoon, everyone. Caron Ria, and welcome to Caron's Corner, Fireside Chat. Today I have Julie McInerney with us, and she's from Sweet Mitten Dreams. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So, we've been reading a lot about you. We've been seeing you on television. Tell us about your business and how you got started.
So I got started back in July of 2020 during the pandemic, which seemed like not the time to start a business, but for my husband and I, it was the right time. He had sold his business. He was in the car dealership business, and he was without a job. I was a stay-at-home mom. And we looked at each other and said, well, we have to start working eventually and figuring this out. And since no one's hiring, then, I think the next step would be to start a business. And so I took kind of my creative interest and party planning interests and thought this could be something that I could merge together and I could offer parents during a pandemic when you can't celebrate birthdays. Mm-hmm. You can't go somewhere anymore to go and have fun with your kids. So let's do something that they could have at their home, and it could be a full service. So that's how it came about.
So you've been doing this for 4 years.
Yes.
But you've hosted a lot of parties.
Yes.
Like 1,000, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So last summer, I did a count because I was curious, and I kept getting asked, how many parties have you done? And so last summer, so in 2023, I hit 1,000 clients.
Wow.
And so, yes. So since then, I've had about 200 additional clients. So that's where I'm at, and really, really proud of it and excited. And it's expanded really because of my clients. It started with the teepees, and then for the smaller kids, and then the 16-plus-year-old kids in the house kept saying, well, what do you have for us? And so that's how my business has expanded to the outdoor movies and the glamping, because they were looking for something too.
Yeah. And so now you're even working with doing like adult brunch parties and things like that?
Yes. So I just hosted one in my subdivision. I was new to the subdivision and wanted to get to know everybody and then also share my business with everybody. And so the outdoor glamp brunch that I put together was for adult women. And I do showers and bachelorette parties. I've done grad parties as well, and 40th birthdays. So it's not just for kids anymore.
Yeah.
And that was my original vision at the time. But now, because of the older siblings and parents enjoying the outdoor experiences, that has grown a ton since 2020.
Well, it sounds like you're all about inclusion.
Yep.
Would you move to my neighborhood, please?
Exactly.
It sounds like a great way to get to know people.
I travel. That's the good thing about what this business does is it can go just about anywhere.
Yeah,
which is
well,
really fun.
obviously you're very creative.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. So what's your favorite kind of party, and what's an example of what you do and how you get set up?
Yeah, so I have 3 different styles. So I have our teepee sleepovers or sleep unders, and then I have our outdoor movies, and then our glamping parties, which is kind of like glorified camping, I would say. And so for me, I love each very differently in their own way, but the teepees are just kind of like what started this whole journey for me. And so I love the teepee experience for the kids because it just allows kids to be kids. Yeah. And they come into the space, I've transformed it, and they're just so happy and joyful, and they're blown away, and they're hugging their mom or their dad, and they're thanking them. I'm getting hugs from moms and dads, like, thank you for doing this for my child. So I think that that's my favorite party to kind of put on.
Yeah. So how many would you host in one party?
Yeah, so in a weekend, I like to host about 5. I like to take about 5 parties a weekend.
Okay.
And that way I'm really concerned about quality and just, my time and making sure that I'm doing my ultimate best at every party and being just as excited as my client is about their daughter or son's birthday or special occasion.
And
so,
is it like a few hours long, or how long are they?
Yeah, so I'll come and set up, and then I return the next day. So it's a rental experience for that client. So I'll come back the next day, And once the kids have left from the sleepover or experience, I'll clean everything up for the client and remove it from their home. Sleepovers, there has been a shift in sleepovers, and there's been a comfort level that's kind of shifted a little bit. So I like to let people know that they're not just for sleepover experiences. You can also do parties like pancake parties and just rent them for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And do little brunches with your friends and do activities. We had a client rent the teepees and then they did yoga in front of the teepees, and then went back to their space to kind of have some meditation time, and it was more of like a wellness retreat for the kids.
Yeah.
So it's not just a sleepover experience, it can be just about anything that you want it to be.
Oh, this is really fascinating.
Yeah.
So you've really come a long way in the 4 years that you've been doing this, and you're local here in the Rochester area.
Yes.
Do you go other places?
I do. So we kind of have a wide net in who we serve. We're in Southeast Michigan, but I do get downtown to Detroit. I'm at the DAC this weekend, so I'll bring my tents in, and their clients have requested to have tents brought into their hotel room at the DAC. So I'm in Detroit sometimes. I'm all the way in St. Clair Shores, Chesterfield area as well. I would just say on the west side of the state is where I do have somebody that I know that services that area. So I don't go all the way to the west side, but I have a wide
You need to get a
net.
helicopter for that.
Yes,
it
I
would
would
be
need
more
that.
convenient.
Yes, that would take a couple more parties to have to invest in something like
We're
that.
gonna work on that.
We're going to work on that right now.
So you had mentioned that you've been on television a few times. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so I was first connected with Local 4 through actually my father-in-law's cousin had a connection with an anchor, and I put myself out there and just said, hey, I want to share my business with you and tell you a little bit more about it. And they were interested and took on the story and came to my site, was able to see the whole experience from setup to the reveal. And since then I've been on their stage as well, kind of on their Live in the D experience that they show. And then CBS Detroit, I was able to have them come behind the scenes with me and follow me to my client and see the whole experience.
So you've had some pretty great exposure.
Yes, I've been very fortunate.
Well, and you're pretty smart.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And then you have 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty young.
Yeah.
And you're running a business, and it's a very successful business. What would you say are the biggest challenges you've had?
It's really for me just balancing how much, because I can run my own schedule because I run my own business. It's balancing the putting on the mom hat versus the business hat and being able to provide for my family. And so what has been kind of eye-opening for me in probably the last year is getting creative with how I go about it. So if I have clients that are, say 20 miles out of my normal service area, I'll ask if I can drop it off on a Thursday and pick it up on a Sunday.
Yeah.
During the school year, I try to get more creative with setups on, Thursdays and Fridays instead of being gone all day Saturday.
Yeah, exactly, because you have to really balance the family time and the business time. But at the same time, you're setting a really great example for your 3 children, too. You're running a business, which is not something everybody can do. So you've got, a good education, a great background, and the support of your husband and 3 kids.
Yes.
And our entire Rochester community.
Yes.
So
I know. And so this is a great community. I love the Rochester community. I've had the most amazing clients, truly.
yeah.
I really have. And I realize that they're parents too.
Right.
So they get it.
Yeah,
they get it if I'm
do.
trying to work with my schedule, and they're so flexible, and I just can't thank them enough for the growth that I've had as a business owner, because that's what's allowed me to be here today. So
Julie McInerney from Sweet Mitten Dreams, thank you so much for being here.
absolutely, thanks for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. It's been fun. And everyone, thanks for joining us. I am Caron Ria with Real Estate One. And remember, don't make a move without me.